Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about how the canon and continuity in Mortal Kombat actually works. Now I'm going to be going from two different ends of the spectrum here. I'll be talking from the perspective of people who don't believe that ladder endings are canon in the Mortal Kombat series, and from my own perspective, which I guess somewhat disproves what they say, as well as show that hey, there is some form of continuity and meaning in these endings. Now 9 times out of 10 with character endings, they are most likely not completely canon. Now what I mean by saying not completely canon is the fact that we have seen certain aspects taken away from each of the character endings, and it isn't so much what ifs, but much like I've said over and over again, foreshadowing. I'll be giving examples later on, but for now I'm just going to talk about from the perspective of the viewer who disagrees with how character endings work. Now are they right in saying a character ending is completely false? Yes and no, because the reason I say it's 9 times out of 10 is because one usually squeezes through the cracks and actually means something in terms of the story. A great example, Reptile. You see, in the main story of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Reptile played no significant role in the story. However, in his character ending, he would be struck by a dragon egg and turned into the Dragon King Onaga. This would come to fruition and eventually lead to Mortal Kombat Deception. Now of course you could say this is the one exception to the rule. However, there have been numerous arcade endings in the original timeline that have done this, one being Movado, who overthrew Kano to be the Deadly Alliance's general. This is in fact one of many endings in the original timeline that actually did come to fruition. But I will exclude anything from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 4, as the game didn't solely focus on story. From Deadly Alliance onwards, Midway began to focus on a much more creative narrative. Now some people will obviously be saying, hey, that's the old timeline, no one really cares about that, so in the new timeline none of these really matter. To which I say, you're right, but you're also kind of wrong. You see, in the new timeline, NRS has taken direction of how they make their stories, as that being the official canon. Anything that is in ladder ending is in fact semi-canon, and people obviously still try to continue and debunk what I say here, but hear me out as this makes a lot of sense. The reason I use the term semi-canon is because the endings you see in Mortal Kombat 9 and even in X are what I like to deem as somewhat half-truths. You see, here we have a few endings in Mortal Kombat 9 that actually came to fruition. Let's talk about Sub-Zero's ending. Now Hanzo and Kuai Lang join forces and take down the Lin Kuei, or something like that, just go with it. Now that's how most interpreters would see it, but if you actually break it down and see how it actually influences Mortal Kombat X, you can see the similarities. You see, in Mortal Kombat 9, Kuai Lang reaches out to Hanzo and the two make peace with each other, which is exactly the same thing that happened in Mortal Kombat X. Some might say that this is a one-time thing, but we had the rather same result with Sector, in which he would kill his father and become the new Grand Master. Same thing goes for Scorpion, we had foreshadowing for him killing Quan Chi in his tower ending. So certainly in this new timeline, these ladders do have some form of significant meaning, and that's what I mean by foreshadowing. What you see here is not entirely true all the way from beginning to end. They will take influences from it and apply it in later game, which is why for the most part I do make these top 5s lists and actually show off the possibilities with the endings, because as I've displayed here, there is some validity to it. And to counteract any argument with Mortal Kombat X, X is the newest game in the franchise. I can't say what is and what isn't canon, but I can only kind of speculate on what's going on here and there. It's also the first Mortal Kombat game we've ever really had that's have character endings that kind of line up with each other, and by NRS kind of doing this, it allows us, the fans, to kind of put together this jigsaw puzzle and figure out what's going on with the story here. Of course, with these character endings, you got to know where they're drawing the line, especially when it comes to guest characters. None of their endings mean a single thing, and what I mean by drawing the line, you need to kind of look at the absurdity of some character ending, because at least some of them will have some significant meaning. I had one person stating how arcade endings are extremely absurd and have no significance in the story, and using Aaron Black's ending as an example. For those of you who don't know, he ended up gunning down many of the new characters incorporated into the game, and this is what I mean by half-truths and knowing where to draw the line. You see, NRS wouldn't kill off a bunch of new characters they've already incorporated. It would essentially be a waste of time, and what this individual failed to see is what happened before this. You see, we were told by the narrator that Aaron Black had in fact gained the ability of immortality from one Shang Tsung. Of course, this is completely ignored, and instead we just get the gun sequence. So this is what I mean by half-truths and knowing where to draw the line. Now the immortality thing is probably a very likely thing we'll get. However, for the massacre of the new characters, that is definitely a no-no. So this is what I mean about the validity of character endings. You need to 1. Understand the absurdity of the ending, 2. Actually look into the ending and see what things can actually happen, and 3. Kind of see how it lines up with other characters, because it does give much more context to this situation. situation. Anyway, I hope this doesn't sound like a full-on rant, but I thought this would be a very educational video, and it would inform some of you guys about the validity of character endings, as I see people arguing in the comments almost all the time about their validity. So hopefully this here will help clear up any problems that people have with the continuity. Now, I'm not saying I'm right 100% of the time, because as I've said before, even Mortal Kombat 11 isn't even in the early ages of its development, so a lot of things that I say in my top 5 list are definitely subject to change. Anyway, this pretty much wraps up the video, and I just want to let you guys know that you guys will have another Mortal Kombat video this week, and yes, it is going to be another theory video. Now, if you have any interesting theories you want me to talk about, please feel free to put them down in the comments below. And if possible guys, let's try getting this video to roughly about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel, as YouTube's algorithm system is extremely broken. Now, as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.